Lesson 2, Anchor Problem 3. As I'm starting to solve these, I could go through and I could substitute each of the values into each of the equations and see if they are a true equation. But I don't think I need to do that because I can just use my number sense to figure out what would be good values to test. For example, in number 1 here, we have 1,000 minus a equals 400. All of the numbers up to here, if I take 1,000 minus one of those numbers, it's going to be a lot more than 400. So I know then that I only should need to test 600 and 1,400. So 1,000 minus 600 does indeed equal 400. So I know that number 1 has 600 as its a value that will make a true equation. The second one here is x squared equals 16. Okay, so I know that any of these numbers less than 1, if I square them, multiply them by themselves, I'm going to get a number that's smaller than them. That's not going to equal to 16. 1 times 1 is 1, not 16. 2 times 2 is 4, not 16. 4 times 4 is indeed 16. Notice that a common mistake would be to think that 8 is the solution. X squared, remember, means x times x, not x squared does not equal 2 times x, and it would have to be 2 times x to be 8. Let's see. Learning how to use these tools here. I'm doing this with my finger on the screen, so it's just a little bit clumsy. Fortunately, I have a touch screen. All right, so for 3, I'm looking at 8 times c equals 8. Well, I can do that one super fast in my head because the only thing that I can multiply by a number and get that number itself is 1. So the answer to number 3 must be 1. All right. For number 4, I might have to dig in a little more deeply. 2 plus x equals 2 and 8/10. Well, I know it can't be something above 2 and 8/10, so I can just eliminate those numbers. If I take 2 plus 2, I'm going to get 4. Sure seems like if I add in 8/10, that will give me the answer I want. 2 plus 8/10 equals 2 and 8/10. 2e equals 1. 2 times e equals 1. If I'm wanting to do that, I can use my number sense to figure out that I would need to multiply 2 times 1/2 to get 1. I could also remember that 2 and 1/2 are what are called reciprocals, which means that when we multiply them together, we always get 1. We get 2 over 2, which is one of those giant ones. Oops, need my eraser. So 2e equals 1. The only solution that works there is 1/2. H plus 3/7 equals 1. So let's see, if I have h plus 3/7, I need something that's going to be 4/7. There it is, 4/7. And finally, 1 minus x equals 1/4. So that means I need to substitute in something less than 1. 1 minus 3/4 equals 1/4.